turn-based strategy game using collectible cards as the mechanical pieces. I'm just going to jump into this first game, and then I'll explain more as I go. Is the audio all right for this game? Let's see.
Wake up.
Tell me how the audio is.
You barely survived your last battle, but with some training, you'll become a force to be reckoned with. Let's get started.
All right, let's get started.
The elves of Llanowar are impressive warriors. Perhaps one of them will help us practice.
The forest belongs to the elves.
Sorry.
She seems like an enthusiastic teacher. You'll need to draw mana from lands to cast your spells.
Okie dokie. So, my teacher, this other elf, is my enemy. So the goal of the game is for me to get her from 8 life down to 0. In a normal game of Magic, you'll start at 20, but through the tutorial, they're going to be slowly ramping us up in terms of Magic rules, so not everything will be in place for our first game. Okay, so she's saying, Sparky here, saying to play a land.
Good. You don't have enough lands to cast anything yet.
This one requires 2, and I only have 1 in play, and I can only play 1 land per turn. We'll get into casting cards in a turn or two when she explains it.
Play another land so you can summon a creature.
Okie dokie. So this card in my hand is a land card. You can tell because it says land on it. Also, land cards look pretty distinct. This one's a forest land from our opponent. There are 5 types of lands, and I'll get into the different colors later. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is that I'm turning my planes, these lands, 90 degrees sideways, and kind of they're fading out, which is what we call tapping the lands. We're using this currency. It creates this energy called mana. You know, you've heard mana as a term in like other Magic-related games, not necessarily Magic the Gathering, but like is your mana system, right? It's the amount of magical energy you use to cast your spells and stuff like that. So in order to summon this creature, I need to pay 2 white. So I need to use these 2 white sources. All right. So I'm going to drag this from my hand, put it into play, and it's automatically going to do this for me during the tutorial. So as it says here, tapped lands don't untap. I'm sorry, tapped lands can be used again on our next turn, but they've been used up for this turn. Okay, so we've gone back to our turn now, which means I can play another land. This one also costs 2, so I can play it by putting it into play and paying the 2 by tapping these 2 lands. So the first turn that a creature enters the battlefield, it's considered summoning sick. These summoning sick creatures are too disoriented to be able to attack the first turn you play them. So now that this one has been in play for a turn, I'm able to have it attack my opponent. So I'm going to click on it, make it attack. Now if you look in the bottom right hand corner of any creature, it has 2 numbers. The first one is its power, which is like its attack. The second number is its toughness, which is its defense. You can see the little sword and shield there. So it's going to deal 2 damage to her face when I hit her, as it's explaining here. So power is the amount of damage it will deal to a player or another creature when it's blocks or hit them. And then in order to kill this creature, you have to deal 2 damage to it in 1 turn.
Pay for that.
Mouse over cards to inspect their details.
All right, they played another 2/2 creature. Theirs is a green creature, and it's an elf warrior. The types here don't matter unless cards specifically reference them. So the anatomy of a Magic card, since you're looking at this, the card's name, so this here is Treetop Warden. This is its cost. So this one costs 1 generic plus 1 green. So this colorless number here can be paid with any kind of mana. So here she tapped 2 different green ones to pay for the 1 green plus 1 of anything. Ours required specifically 2 white. This new one in our hand costs 3 in total because it's 1 white plus 2 of anything. So luckily we have enough to cast it. So far these have all been creature cards. which have a power and toughness, and they're the main way you're going to win the game. Because I don't want to just go walk up to this elf and punch her in the face. I want to send my creatures to do that for me. All right. I'm going to play my elephant. And then it's summoning 6, so it cannot attack this turn, but the other ones both can attack. So I'm going to attack with both my other creatures.
You've been blocked.
So you saw there, power always goes to the opposite creature's toughness. So my 2 power is going to the Treetop Warden's 2 toughness, which will be enough to kill it. Simultaneously, the Treetop Warden's 2 power is going to my 2 toughness, which will be able to kill my Shrine Keeper as well. With regard to creature type / names, is legendary status relevant, or is that something for later? Yes, and that is something for later. In fact, I don't think we'll get to legendary during this tutorial, but if you ask me once the tutorial is done, I will talk about legendary. So here, in Magic the Gathering, the player who's on the defense, the blocking player, is the one who gets to make the choices about where creatures are blocking and what's blocking what. What I mean by that is I wanted to draw a contrast to Hearthstone or Yu-Gi-Oh! If you played games like that, which also have creature-based combat. In those games, I would say, like, okay, my elephant's going to attack their beast here. In Magic, my creatures always attack the opposing player by default, and the defending player gets to choose if their creatures will block on their behalf or not. So I have another land, which I'm going to play.
That beast will destroy your creatures if you attack now.
So as we see, this is a 4 power, 4 toughness creature. So if it blocked either of my creatures, my creature would die. If I attack, though, at least they'll get lower in health. I'm going to hold off for now.
You've shown spirit, but I will show you strength.
Okay. Oh! We have a big friend incoming. A spell has made this creature stronger temporarily. So this is a type of card called a sorcery.
Stand your ground.
It has a one-time effect, and then it goes to the graveyard, which is what we call the discard pile. So the one-time effect of this Feral Roar was to give a creature +4 power and +4 toughness until end of turn. You can see here that this Rumbling Baloth, which is normally a 4/4, is an 8/8 for this turn. When it says target a creature, that just is choosing a creature in play. All right, so I'm going to block, because I don't want to take the 8 damage and die, because I'm only at 7. So I'm going to throw my 2/2 in front of their 8/8. Now what you'll see here is that even though my creature is super duper tiny, and theirs is humongous, because my creature blocked the Baloth, I, Kyle, the player, will not take any damage.
Still recovering.
Alright, I drew a sorcery of my own. Destroy target tapped creature. Again, tapped is the terminology for when something has been used for the turn, so it's like turned sideways and faded out in Arena. In paper play, it's usually turned 90 degrees sideways. So I'm going to target this to destroy it. So straight up, blowing it up. So they have no creatures to block me. I'm going to attack them for 3. Okay, so I played... Oh, they got 2 Treetop Wardens here.
We've got you cornered.
Cast the spell. Clear a path to finish her.
Alright, so I drew a new card today. Here, let's see what it says. Blinding Radiance is a sorcery. Again, it's something that I play and has a one-time effect. Tap all creatures my opponents control with toughness 2 or less. Alright, tapping is when they turn sideways, and a tapped creature cannot block. And again, these have 2 toughness. The toughness is the second number, the defense. So, if I cast the sorcery, their creatures are tapped, which means they're unable to block. So I can just go ahead and attack them. And they have no option but to take it to their face and die.
Outsider.
Alright, so that's kind of like the basics of like Magic combat. Any questions so far regarding combat, creatures or sorceries, or even casting a spell? Also, I changed the audio a little bit. How does it sound now? Oh, we're going straight into another battle versus Mirbo.
Surprise attack.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this creature is Raging Goblin. It's 1 mana for a 1/1 creature, And creatures often will have abilities that are described in the text box here, which allow them to break the normal rules of the game. For example, this creature can attack the first turn that he plays it because it has the ability Haste. Haste makes it get around the summoning sickness that creatures normally have when you first play them. BMU35, you may recognize this card, but this is new art for Raging Goblin.
Maybe worry just
This was in your first deck.
Second blood.
Sure, that's a thing.
Right.
you need to mount a defense.
Thanks, Sparky. I will. Right? 2 mana. I can now cast my Shrine Keeper. Now, these have been used, so I can't play the second one until next turn. Okay. So I have a 2 power and 2 toughness creature, a 2/2. Their creatures are 1/1s, and I can only block one at a time. But when I block theirs, I will survive and theirs will die. So I'm pretty happy to do this. Ooh.
I've got more.
3/3. That's much bigger than my creatures. Looks like someone's playing an aggro token deck. Yep, basically. Okay, so as the note said here, creatures heal any damage that was on them at the end of each turn. So Shrine Keeper would need to take 2 damage in the single turn in order for it to die. Even though it took 1 damage last turn, it can still take another 1 damage and survive as long as it's not 2 in the same turn. You call him Raging Goblin, you call him all reliable. Sure. Alright, we'll have 3 lands total, and this costs 2 and this costs 1, so I can actually play both. So first I'll play this 2/2. And now I still have 1 remaining with which to cast this cat, Sanctuary Cat, which is a 1 power, 2 toughness creature.
Your creatures aren't tough enough to survive being blocked.
Right, so I don't want to attack with this because then they can just block with their 3/3 and eat my Shrine Keeper. That's the strategic thought there. They are getting really aggressive. Okay, so I want their Goblin Bruiser to die. So you can actually have multiple creatures team up to block one other creature, but I couldn't have like this one creature be in 3 places at once and block 3 things. It's just these 2 can both team up to block 1. I can even have them all 3 block this, but that's not necessary. So when this happens, I'll walk you through how this damage works. So blocking here, they had 3 power, so they got to choose how they dealt the damage among the 2 creatures blocking them. They dealt 2 to this one and 1 to my cat. And my creatures dealt 1 plus 2 to their 3 toughest creatures. So their creature died, my creature died, and this one got a damage on it. Oh gosh. Okay, so a lot was going on there while I was explaining, so I'm going to pause for a moment. They cast a spell called Goblin Grenade. It's a sorcery that costs 1 red to cast, but it has an additional cost. In order to play this card, you have to sacrifice a goblin. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you have to sacrifice a goblin. These creatures are all goblins, as it says in their type line. So then, Goblin Grenade dealt 5 damage to any target, so they dealt 5 damage directly to me. Alright. They have no creatures in play, so I can't attack with both. But, as we've seen before, they have some creatures with haste in their deck. So I might want to hold my cat back in case they play another haste creature. Oh, they want to attack all? Okay, she's saying attack with all of them. Most of the time, it's good to attack with all of them there, but since I'm suspicious that they may have more creatures that can attack right away, that's what my logic was. But that's overthinking of it. So Goblin Gang Leader is a 4 mana 2/2 creature. When Goblin Gang Leader enters the battlefield, so when they play it, create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. A creature token is a creature that's spawned by something else's effect. Warden, you were talking about aggro token decks, and yep, you can see here, this one card gave them 3 different bodies, 3 different creatures in play. Alright. Well, I've got my own creature with an enters the battlefield ability. When Spiritual Guardian enters the battlefield, I gain 4 life, so my life points were restored up to 12. I'm okay with attacking with my 2/2 here, because if they block, then they both die, and that's fine with me.
Never hold back. Never back down. Never walk barefoot in a goblin warren.
Good advice. Good advice. Alright, I'm a bit suspicious because this attack looks really bad for them. Their creatures are both just going to die and mine will survive.
It's time to bring the pain.
Oh. Ow.
This is going to hurt.
So when this Ogre Painbringer enters, both players are going to take 3 damage. And it's a 7 power creature. Alright. Yikes. So, if you look over here, this is kind of our timeline of a turn. You can see theirs is over here in Faded. Begin, main, in the middle of this is combat, second main, and end of turn. The reason I'm bringing this up is that I can play things during either of my main phases, which means I can play this creature now or after I attack before it's their turn. So I'm going to go ahead and attack first, if they let me. Okay, good. I'm going to attack with my 3/4 creature. And they didn't want their giant creature to die, so they didn't block. And now, after combat, I'll play my own Spiritual Guardian. Or second one, rather. I will block with my Spiritual Guardian. 3 power to this one's 3 toughness will kill it. 7 power to my 4 toughness will also kill me, so both of our creatures are going to die here.
A good general knows when they're beat. So you should probably give up now.
Huh? Sure, sure.
Have mercy on me, please. It's the pokey bits that hurt the most.
What hurts the most was being so close. Falling on the pointy bits. So you saw there that their deck all had some red, like, cards that had a red border, right? Magic has 5 different colors in it. I'll probably get into that a little bit more. Let's see. Okay. Ooh, we've upgraded our deck. We've unlocked 2 new cards, which are Enchantment Auras. Okay, that's a card type we haven't seen yet. Hopefully this next round will explain to us how those work.
You're a quick learner. So let's try a more challenging lesson.
Ooh, I'm up for a challenge.
Follow me to Ixalan. There's a mystic there who spent his life studying the nuances of combat.
Okay, let's study the nuances of combat. Before we do that, I'm going to talk briefly about the 5 colors in Magic and how it's structured. You saw my cards all have like a eggshell, beige, white, yellow color. That's because those cards are all white. There are 5 colors in Magic: white, blue, black, red, and green. These two are lit up because I fought the green player and the red player already. After this, I'll fight the blue player. This blue will be lit up. My deck currently is white, and then we'll presumably fight a black color deck. Each color has its own strengths and weaknesses, and you can intermix colors to make a deck once you've gotten some practice. We'll probably see that shortly, I imagine. Kalubi. Alright, teach me things, Kalubi.
He might look like any other merfolk, but his knowledge is boundless. Stay patient and keep an open mind.
If it is wisdom you seek, I will teach you.
I'm going to turn the sound effects down, leave the voice on high, and then turn the overall audio up a tiny bit for y'all, because I imagine it might be hard to hear. Not that it's super important. Alright, they played a 1/1 creature with the ability called Flying. Flying is pretty intuitive, I think. Since this is a bird, my cat won't be able to block it because it'll just fly over top of the cat and hit me directly in the face. I need my own flying creature to be able to block their flying creature.
Everything is connected. You must understand the air, land, and sea.
Okay. So he's playing a card of the enchantment type. An enchantment is something that stays on the battlefield unless
That bird can fly over any block
something destroys it.
around.
Auras are specifically a type of enchantment that's like becomes attached to another creature. So this one's giving their Zephyr Gull a +1 power, +1 toughness bonus permanently, as long as that's attached to it. And there's no way to get rid of it unless something like specifically says so, or I can just kill the creature directly. So it's kind of like a buff. In other games, they might have been like equipment or enchantment, or in Hearthstone even some spells like what was it? not Nut King's Justice. I don't know. It's one you can basically you put a buff onto a creature, right? And it's a permanent buff on it as long as that thing stays attached, and it will by default stay attached the whole time. So mine is Knight's Pledge to give a creature +2/+2, and I'm going to make my cat get +2/+2. So now it's a 3/4.
You've been paying attention.
Gotta go back to late work. Later, taters. Peace be you. Thanks for joining. Oh.
Obstacles may block your path, but do not lose sight of your true goal.
Look at this.
Is that crab wearing a pirate hat?
I love the art on this. This is great. But it's a 0 power creature, so it won't deal any damage, but it has 4 toughness, so it's going to be really hard to kill. Okay. I'm going to play my elephant, my Loxodon Linebreaker. It can't attack yet because it has summoning sickness. And if I attack with my cat, they can just block with their 0/4 crab, so there's not really a point. Because both of them will survive.
Battles ebb and flow.
Oh, so this is another enchantment aura, but this is one that's like a negative, so they're going to put it on my creature. Basically,
Keep going. He's running out of cards.
when they play Water Knot, they're going to basically bind it on my creature. When it enters the battlefield, it taps the enchanted creature, so when they play the Water Knot, it automatically tapped my Loxodon Linebreaker. And now, my Loxodon Linebreaker will not untap during my untap step, so it's going to stay tapped forever, unless there's some way to get rid of the Water Knot. So this one is basically useless to me. Well, I'm going to play my land for the turn. I'm going to put another Knight's Pledge on my Sanctuary Cat. Now my cats are really big, and they can break through their crab if they block. Okie dokie. Still need a way to deal with this 2/2 flyer because I haven't been able to block it because it's flying overhead.
Wow, that sounds deep.
Ooh. Divination, they got to draw 2 cards from their 1 card. As you see here, my Loxodon Linebreaker is still not untapping because the Water Knot is still holding it back. Any questions so far, chat? Or comments about how good of a cat this is? Ooh.
If you make big waves,
That's
do
big.
not blame the ocean when you get carried away.
His lessons are just so majestic.
Yes, very enlightened. Alright, well this card looks good. Angelic Reward. Costs 3 plus a white plus another white, so 5 in total. For an enchantment aura that enchants a creature and gives that enchanted creature +3 power and +3 toughness, and that creature gets to fly now. Sweet. I think I'm going to put it on my Spiritual Guardian because my other cat is already big enough that I'll leave it on the ground to rumble with their dinosaur. But the dinosaur can't fly, so I'm going to hit them with my now flying spirit. Okay. My creature is a 5 power, 6 toughness creature. I'll deal 5 damage to their 6 toughness when I block. They'll deal 4 damage to my 6 toughness when I block. So neither of us will die here. So it makes sense for me to block so that I personally don't take 4 damage.
The student is a river. The teacher is an ocean. The master is
Also an ocean.
Wait, what? That last one sounds fishy.
Yes. Oh, don't like that.
The mystic I was thinking of isn't even a miracle.
And who is this guy?
So, I actually
Alright,
don't
let's
know who this guy is.
get this stranger dead then. Alright, so this lesson integrated enchantment auras. Any questions on those? Before we move on. The master is an ocean. Ooh, unlocked more cards. These ones are of the instant type. Ooh. Instants have a one-time effect, just like sorceries do. So instants are very similar to sorceries, with the major exception that you can play them at any time you want. That's why they're called instants. They break the normal rules of only being able to play stuff during your own main phases.
Okay, you're almost ready to take on anyone, including whoever roughed you up in the first place.
Gee, I hope
For
so.
your last lesson, let's head to Tarkir to learn the art of
Krim,
surprise.
hello, hello. Welcome. We're teaching some Magic the Gathering Arena, some Magic the Gathering if you're not familiar. You're very hydrated? Good. We should all aim to be very hydrated, especially you.
Watch her every move and be ready for anything.
Thanks for the big flashing sign. This opponent has spells that can be cast on my turn.
Pretty little thing has wandered into my way.
Oh. Thank you for clarifying. Yes. Glad you're keeping TOS in mind. And hopefully that means you're happy. But that will make you dehydrated, so be very careful since you've spent a lot of time dehydrated from when you were sick. Alright. The cat's going to attack.
This is my favorite part.
Love you too, criminal. They cruel cut my cat! So this card is an instant, so they can play it at any time, even during my turn in the middle of combat. So they're going to destroy my cat because it has power 2 or less. Hope you have a good rest of your night, criminal. I'll play my Shrine Keeper. Rose of Hydration. Health. I assume the downside is going to be needing to run to the restroom. Okay. Oh gosh, they have another creature. Creatures with flash can also be cast at any time. So the flash ability lets them be played at the same time you can play an instant, which is basically any time. So they can put this into play and immediately block my creature.
Did you see that coming?
I did not see that coming. Except for the fact that I was told when the game started, hey, your opponent's going to be playing stuff during your turn. Okay. Well, I'm going to put the Knight's Pledge of my Shrine Keeper to make it a 4/4. And then I will attack with my 4/4 creature. So, even if they block with one of these, I'll still survive. Unless... Oh, interesting. So my creature has been declared blocked. So since they blocked my Shrine Keeper, it now will officially not deal damage to her. They then cast another spell, Altar's Reap, before any of the damage actually happened, which let them sacrifice their own creature and draw 2 cards. But again, because my creature was considered blocked, even when it was time to deal damage, she took no damage. Alright. It's always a good idea to read cards as you draw them, or as your opponents play them, so let's see here. This is an instant. It gives a blocking or blocked creature that I control +2 power and +2 toughness until end of turn. So if they block my creature, I can make mine into a 6/6. Their creature is a 5/5 that is incapable of blocking, but it did just deal 5 damage to me, so I'm down to 5 life. So basically, I can't attack here, otherwise they'll just attack me and kill me. So I'm going to pass.
Careful. You can't afford to take another hit like that. Block first. Then it's time for some trickery of your own.
Tee-hee-hee-hee. Okay. So I'm going to block them with my 4/4 creature. So they've attacked. I'm declaring my block. And then damage will happen after we've decided there's no instance or anything. So I've declared what my block is, but before damage happens here, I'm going to give my creature +2 power, +2 toughness, so mine is bigger than theirs.
Ooh, very clever.
Thank you. I've thought of it all on my own. Gosh, oh, more Nimble Pilferers.
You've fallen right into my trap.
I've activated her trap card.
Get ready.
Okay, so she's double blocking here, which means that my creature will take 2 damage from this, +2 damage from this. 4 damage is enough to kill me. I have 4 power, so I will be able to kill them. But I want my creature to survive. So I'm going to cast my instant tactical advantage to make mine big enough to survive.
I can respect that.
I'm glad I have her approval. It means a lot to me.
I've got nothing, really. I'm at your mercy.
Sounds suspicious. I will attack, because you do not sound suspicious. I'm at my comfortable 5 life.
You've let your
I'm
guard
passing my turn. Mom, I need help.
Now it's my turn.
Or so I think, or so she thought. Because last turn I drew this instant. Confront the assault. It's an instant, so I can play it when during their turn. But I can only cast the spell if I'm being attacked, which I am. I'm feeling very attacked right now. When I cast this, I create 3 1/1 white spirit creature tokens that have the flying ability. So I'm going to play this and instantly make 3 different 1/1s. So I'm going to take 6 damage if I don't block at all. She has no cards in hand. I'm going to block 1 Nimble Pilferer and take 4 damage down to 1 life. Yeah, I'll survive if I just block 1. And now I have 6 power in play, so I can go ahead and attack. Oh, they're making me play this. Now I'm overkilling.
I'll be in touch.
Please do. It was nice talking to you, Viper Nang. All right. We made it through those 4 tutorial matches. How are we feeling? Questions, comments, concerns so far? Because I think this next one's going to be pulling it all together. Ooh. Inspiring Commander is a rare card. And Sarah Angel. Oh, this is a very famous Magic card. Beautiful Angel. Okay.
Nice job. That was some quick thinking.
Well, you know
When
how I
we
do.
first met, you looked within an inch of your life. But now you're unstoppable. Who were you fighting in the first
Who
place?
was I fighting in the first place? Oh no!
Nicole Bolas. After I annihilated you, I really didn't expect to see you again.
Well, surprise.
What? This is a terrible idea.
Too bad, Sparky. I'm here for my grudge match. The all-powerful dragon, Nicol Bolas, is challenging me. Can't say no.
I'll make a deal with you, Planeswalker. Defeat me, and I'll let you go. Lose, and you will serve me for eternity.
I don't trust like that.
Your life depended on it.
So in a normal game of Magic, you'll start at 20 life. In most games of Magic, you'll play in your lifetime. Oh, he's got 2 colors in his deck.
Sometimes you need to
Red
make a tough
and black.
decision.
So they paid 1 of any kind with their red land, their mountain, and with their swamp, they made black mana. Alright, when this enters, we both discard a card. I'll just get rid of one of my extra planes. Don't need more of those. Oh,
Throw away a dragon.
he discarded a volcanic dragon, which...
I do as I choose with what is mine. And it is all mine.
Suspicious. Okay, well at least I can cast my own creature. So now we both have a 2/2. Oh, they're 3 colors. Blue, black, and red. They have access to a lot of different options then. I used Cruel Cut to kill my creature. Well, play a new creature.
Power is the only thing that matters. There is nothing else.
Uh-huh. Ambition's cost. Draw 3 cards and lose 3 life. Alright, well that's a lot of cards. It's definitely worth the 3 life. Okay. So I have tactical advantage in my hand. So if they block with their 2/2 when I attack here, I can make my creature big enough to survive. Which I'll do now. Haha! Tricked you! Silly Nicol Bolas.
I will let nothing stand in the way of what I seek. Not even death.
Not even you. Oh, shoot. Rise from the grave. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. This creature is a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Oh, geez. So now they have brought their volcanic dragon back from the graveyard. And because of its haste ability, it can attack right away. And it's a 4/4 flying dragon zombie now. Okay. Yikes. Well, it's flying, so I can't block it anyway. So I might as well attack with my elephant. Then I'm going to cast my Spiritual Guardian. It's a 3/4, and I gain 4 life when it enters. Oh no. What is happening here? Copy the next spell that they cast this turn, basically. So when they cast their next instant or sorcery, they're going to get a copy of it, and they can choose new targets if, like, basically, they don't have to kill the same thing if they're casting a kill spell a second time. Deals 2 damage to each creature without flying, but then they're copying it. So they're going to deal 4 damage to all the non-flying... Oh, dude, no!
Whoa!
For shame, for shame. I have no creatures left. Well, I do have this one in my hand. Inspiring Commander. It's a 1 power, 4 toughness creature. So not very powerful in the fighting department. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under my control, I gain 1 life and draw 1 card. So if I play a tiny creature, I get to draw a card and gain a life. That sounds pretty good, but I just need to be drawing those creatures now. Because I have nothing to answer the dragon yet. This commander does not fly, unfortunately. Oh! Target player draws 7 cards. Sounds good. Sounds real good.
My triumph is at hand.
Alright, so I've got this dinky little 2/2, but whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield, whenever I play a 2 power or less creature, I'm going to gain 1 life, draw a card. So at least I get another card now that I play this. Ooh. Another one.
We just might be able to
Oh.
pull this off.
Destroy target tapped creature. Hey, he's got a tapped creature. Toodles.
No matter. Soon there will be nothing.
Get in there for the 1 damage. 1 damage. Oh no, what the? Deals 3 damage to each other creature. Okay, well there go my 2/2s.
All succumb to Bolas.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm not going to attack because then they'll just block and
Hold
kill my
back
creature.
So you can prepare for his attack.
But this is going to make me 3 different 1/1s, which will make my Inspiring Commander have his ability trigger 3 times. So let me do this. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Okay. Ooh, and I drew an instant that I can cast. That's sweet. Well, here's what I'm planning. If I block with 2 spirits, this one can give it +2/+2, meaning I'll have enough 4 power to destroy their dragon. And I'll just take that 6 damage, that's fine. So let me cast my instant.
Congratulations. You're actually beginning to irritate me.
You're welcome. Okay. The cat normally wouldn't be very good here, but it'll at least draw me a card from my Inspiring Commander.
Such impudence.
Whew! Okay, first things first. I'll attack with my creatures. Their creature attacked last turn, so it's tapped, so it can't block my commander. Now I'm going to cast my Serra Angel. So again, when a creature attacks, it becomes tapped. Tapped creatures are then unable to block. So you basically have to make a choice. Do I want this creature to attack this turn, or be able to block on my next turn? Well, Serra Angel here is a 4/4 creature with flying and an ability called Vigilance. Vigilance says that when this creature attacks, it does not become tapped, meaning that next turn, my Serra Angel can attack him, and it'll still be untapped to be able to block on the following turn.
My power is beyond that of a god.
Okay, Boomer. No! I wanted that creature. Whew. The crab is cute, but it's big. Oh no. A demon. So I think I'm just going to get rid of my Sanctuary Cat here. Have that absorb all the damage for me.
Admit defeat.
No. Alright. I'm going to give my Sarah Angel +3/+3. And double flying. There's no such thing as double flying. I'm jesting. I'm going to attack with her, because she'll be able to block again anyway. Bull, let's go back to the prison realm. You're cranky.
Let's finish it.
His patience wearing thin. Okay. 7/7's bigger than a 6/6, so I'll be happy with that. My 1/1 will block their 5/3, and then I can use this instant to give it +2/+2, so that I'll at least be able to kill their demon then. And take 1 damage from the crab.
This is it.
Gotcha.
I'm impressed.
Alrighty, so that was the tutorial for Magic the Gathering in Magic the Gathering Arena. Any questions from the chat in this moment before I hop into the greater game?
Woohoo!
Woohoo indeed, Sparky.
That dragon better think twice before he tries messing with you again.
Indeed. So now I've unlocked all 5 tutorial decks. Sweet. 1 for each of the 5 colors. As a white mage, you command disciplined armies. Enforce order to overwhelm your enemies. Azure Skies. As a blue mage, you control the battlefield through illusion. Always think 3 steps ahead of your foe. Out for blood. As a black mage, every advantage comes at a cost. Sacrifice whatever is necessary to control the forces of death and darkness. Dome Destruction. As a red mage, you revel in the chaos of battle. Fire is your weapon and your inspiration. Forest's Might. As a green mage, the natural world is at your command. The power of life itself fuels your magic. Go big, go fast. Go hard no matter what the cost. Go in the air and be tricky. And then what we've been holding with. Alright, so I'm going to end the recording part of the tutorial stuff here, but I'm going to keep playing in a moment. So if you're watching this VOD, hopefully this was helpful to give you an introduction